You want witness? You want... He's one too purple heart. Ravage your body, lady. You're a pretty lady.
I have not
seen such a pretty lady. I'm going to dress. It's coming.
In America, everyone loves a rebel. Our politicians run for office claiming to be bold outsiders and mavericks. Advertisers implore us, urge us to think for ourselves. And even doctors and soldiers do whatever they please. Directed by Robert Altman, MASH takes a loving look at the misbehavior of Army doctors near the front lines. And it also is a celebration and perhaps a send-up of the anti-authoritarian and sometimes antisocial tendencies of a certain type of American male.
Wish they wouldn't land these things here when we're playing golf.
MASH stands for Mobile Army Surgical Hospital. And this unit, the 4077th, is in many ways the main character in this movie. What story there is emerges through the unpredictable rhythms of everyday life in the 4077th.
Don't you use olives?
Olives? Where the hell do you think you are, man?
We do have to make certain concessions to the war. We're 3 miles from the front line. And
Yes, but a man can't really savor his martini without an olive, you know? Otherwise, you see, it just doesn't quite make it.
It sometimes seems like Altman's method as a filmmaker is to create as much chaos as possible and then just record what happens. For instance, his signature effect of overlapping dialogue requires us to pay particularly close attention and figure out for ourselves just what's going on.
baby, we're going to see some stitching like you never saw before.
Attention, attention.
Okay, here she
From
goes.
Colonel Blake's office. The American
We're off
Medical
and running.
Association has just declared marijuana a dangerous drug.
Danger and death and the horrors of war punctuate an everyday routine of practical jokes, cocktails, rounds of golf, and casual sex. The quick change from frivolous to grim and back again represents one of the movie's key insights about war and its absurdity.
I realize and I can see that suicide is painless.
MASH takes place during the Korean War, but it was released in 1970 when a lot of Americans were becoming disenchanted with the war in Vietnam and when the 60s counterculture had at last broken into the mainstream. The movie's heroes, Trapper John McIntyre, played by 70s matinee idol Elliot Gould, and Hawkeye Pierce, played by the great Donald Sutherland, represent the counterculture spirit. They're irreverent, sexually liberated, and contemptuous of anything that smacks of protocol or puritanism, especially as those things are represented by their nemeses, Major Frank Burns, played by Robert Duvall, and Major Margaret Hot Lips Houlihan, played by Sally Kellerman.
You're not hungry, are you?
Ravenous. How about you?
For you, Margaret.
When I first saw this movie as a teenager, I thought that Trapper John and Hawkeye were the coolest guys ever. And now I have to say I'm not so sure. A lot of the time they act like entitled, obnoxious jerks. They tolerate people who are weaker than them, but with a lot of condescension. They bully anyone who gets in their way, and they use and humiliate women.
At first they called me a hot lip, and you let them get away with it. And then you let them get away with everything.
They seem less like hippie heroes than like spoiled frat boys, or movie stars, or hotshot surgeons.
And furthermore, you can't do what the
Altman, who was something of a hellraiser in his younger days, grew up to be one of the great bad boys of American cinema. And it is his status as an outlaw within Hollywood that's reflected in MASH. The system has a place for everyone, even rebels.
Can't even go near a patient until Colonel Merrill says it's okay, and he's still out to lunch.
Look, Mother, I want to go to work in 1 hour. We are the pros from Dover, and we figure to crack this kid's chest and get out to the golf course before it gets dark. So you go find the gas passer and you have him pre-medicate this patient. Then bring me the latest pictures on him. The ones we saw must be 48 hours old by now. Then call the kitchen and have them rustle us up some lunch. Ham and eggs will be all right. Steak would be even better. And then give me at least one nurse who knows how to work in close without getting her in my way.
Oh, you fool!
How do you want your steak cooked?